cloud, and I'm going to mute everyone. So as you see, I started the recording and probably a little box jumps up on your screen. You have to click the word "got it," and I'll take care of it. Okay, so come to sitting at the front edge of your chair, right? So we have to often scoot a little bit forward on the chair. So you find that connection through the buttock bones, down through your chair, down to the floor. So essentially we become a tripod for a moment. We got one leg, two leg, and then the chair acts like a third pillar or support. And we get to practice what's called zhongjung, or central upright. So we have to do something usually to create or attend to that central upright. Often we're sort of slouching, or maybe a shoulder's up and the head is forward. So we have to, from the hips, usually tip them a little bit forward, tip forward in the pelvis. That naturally sends a line straight up through the crown of the head. And then ideally what we then are able to practice is what's called chunwon, or softening and relaxing as your means of finding stability. So once you've got zhongjung, central upright, then you let go of any effort that you use to get you arranged that way. And this quality, similar to, if you can picture like a glass of water with dirt in it that you stir up, and then that's kind of the state we're in. We're sort of stirred up with tension and density. And so then as we sit and relax, we allow the water to come to stillness and the sediment to settle, and it naturally settles down. So that's where they say in Tai Chi, the primary direction in Tai Chi is down. Down. Letting some people in here. So when we're practicing meditation practice, which I highly recommend everyone do multiple times a day, just a couple of minutes of sitting correctly and breathing in and breathing out, and especially with something like Parkinson's and other nervous system, sort of brain, nervous system, body, sort of hijacked chaos, right? This act of sitting correctly, breathing in long and smooth, breathing out long and smooth, and doing that round after round, in long and smooth, out long and smooth, and just keep doing that. Let's do maybe 12 breaths. 12 breaths. Can you not wander? Have your attention not wander away from the breathing. So that's why the breathing is powerful, because it gives us a thing to attend to. And the mind has a million things that it's going to jump over here, something we're excited about, something we're scared about, and many others, right? But if we can just be present with the way the breath is inhaling, the little pause at the top, the way the breath is exhaling, and the little pause at the bottom. We're helping to clear that chaos, that neuromuscular craziness that's going on that usually results in tension, gripping, holding, right? So we want to experience chunwon, or the relaxing of everything that can be relaxed. About 5, 6 more breaths. See if you can actually feel the change happening. Feel yourself dropping off, releasing something that is in your system that is just not helping, right? Tension is eventually, I say this with some of my clients, we want to have a zero tolerance policy for tension. Zero tolerance policy for tension. So the whole body is in a state of ease and relaxation. And that doesn't mean it will go down in function. It'll actually increase in its ability to function the more we relax. And take your hands onto your knees, palms face down. First movement, slide your hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, lift your chest, lift your chin, arch. And then do the opposite. Slide your hands forward past your knees, hollow your chest, and drop your head. Drop it down. And then we do that again. Slide the hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, chest up, chin up, look to the sky. And then we go the other way. Slide the hands forward past the knees, hollow the chest, round the back. We're going to do that 3 more times. Just do that on your own. Sliding back, arching. We want to make sure to finish the movements, because something else I've noticed with Parkinson's folks is you get stuck in a smaller range of motion. It's kind of like just doing something like this instead of all the way. And it's not due to lack of ability. It's due to lack of the mind really focusing on all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way, finish. So it's a stamina of attention to go, 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 keep going, get to the end, and then hold the end. And then go all the way, all the way, all the way to the other direction. Finish. All the way, all the way, all the way. So it's the brain, neural, body relationship that we're training here. Now back to neutral, and let's do the rotation. Slide left hand forward past the knee, right hand slide back, elbow back. Turn the shoulders, turn the head, look over your shoulder, rotation. And then we switch. So these are just our primary, no matter what class I'm teaching, when it's chair-based, I'm always starting with these basic movements because they just need to be turned on. They just have to be. Rotation, turn to your right. Rotation, turn to your left. Let's do this a few more times. Remember to emphasize soft. Soft. It's an incredibly common habit to tighten and then move. So we have to train ourselves to find that soft, sort of like you're oozing through the movement. And then you're oozing through the movement. Do one more each way on your own, rotations. And then as you finish that last one, back to middle. And then the lateral or sideways movement. Again, really important. We hang the arms and just lean sideways. And as you lean to your right, lift your left wrist right in front of the chest, left foot empty. So lean. And then we just, again, soft cross to the other side. So one of the main values of this exercise is, and if you just look at me on the screen, if I point to my belly button here, you notice that even though I'm going all the way over here, the belly button more or less kind of just stays as the organizing center, sort of like the middle of a seesaw. So that seesaw can be moving all the way to its ends, and yet without that middle pivot, the seesaw just wouldn't work. And it's the stability of that middle pivot that makes the movement function. So that's what we're really cultivating here, is our middle pivot. But it's not a place we hold, it's a place that is revealed when we relax. So that's sort of the secret sauce of Tai Chi, is that when you relax and open everything, then the middle becomes somewhere we can operate from. And then finally here, shoulders. So scapula on your back. your arms are plugged into the scapula. Shrug, melt. Again, shrug, melt. And when I'm this close to the screen, you can tell I'm not doing anything with my arms. I'm not doing something with the arms. It's just the scapula. The arms are pulled up with the scapula and lowered down with them, but I'm not doing anything specific with them. And now we do our circle. So the scapula can also spread apart and squeeze together. So do that a couple of times. Spread apart, squeeze together, and something changes here, right? So when the shoulder blades spread apart, the chest kind of depresses. And then when the shoulder blades squeeze together, the chest protrudes a little bit. So we have to allow for that movement of the thoracic spine and the ribs. And then we go forward and up, back and down. Forward and up, back and down. So again, what are the scapula doing? They're spreading apart, staying apart while they lift, squeezing together while lifted, staying together while they slide down, and then they're in neutral. And we do it again. Spread apart and lift, over top, squeeze together, down. One more. And then we reverse. Back, up, over, down, under, back and up, over, down, back and up, over, down. So we're liberating somewhere that for many people becomes just like a stuck place. And we need it to be buttery, melted, movable. Last one, and down. All righty, now scoot a little bit back on your chair, just a little bit back so you feel very stable. And then bring right knee up and right heel in. So sort of like you're pulling your leg in, but no hands. So pull up and in, and then push away. And then pull up and in, and set the foot down. We're going to do it again. Other side though. Load, push, reload, down. And again, load, push, reload, down. Loading, push, reload, down. Now the foot and the ankle. Straighten the right leg, point the foot, flex the foot. Point and flex. And then we do what's called invert, tilt the foot in, evert, tilt the foot out. In, out, in, out. And then we circle, in, around, and out. Circle. And reverse, out, around, and in. And all of these exercises, you could do more reps, and it would be a good idea. But since we're in sort of a condensed time period, we want to get to standing, just kind of going over them in a more cursory way. Left foot forward, we go point and flex a few times. And then invert, tilt, tilt. And then circle, in, around, and out. And out, around, and in. And release, and down. Scoot once again, forward on your chair. Step your feet a little wider apart than hip distance. Here, lift your toes and turn on your heels. Turn your toes in, knees in, quad or groin area, close. And then open. Close. Open. Close. Open. Last one. Close. Open. And back to neutral. Bring your feet a little closer together. Hands are on your knees. Hip hinge. Fold. sit vertical, lean back, vertical. So this is like the most minimal joint mobilization set that just gets every part basically tuned up and turned on and opened up so that we can be more successful in our standing practice. Last one, forward and back. And then sit vertical. So now we have loose chest, shoulder, shoulder blade arms, ideally. So let's do this little bit here where you float your arms up in front and then drop and let them swing back. And then they swing up and then swing back. And then up and then back. And then up and then back. And we just get this loose quality where we're not grabbing at the arm, chest, and shoulder. We let them be loose and then just let them come to stillness. Let them just hang. And notice that you might be holding them where you need not hold them, where you can let them go. Now, swing one arm a little behind, the other arm in front, and then swing. Swing. So now let this slightly turn you at your middle pivot. Turning slightly. But you don't have to force the turn, you just have to relax. Just relax and swing the arms all the way. And the body will turn the exactly appropriate amount. And then we settle and let them hang. Now the feet, because we're in the chair, we can do this. 1 foot lift and then switch. So tap the floor. Fast feet, tap. And then relax. So you noticed your feet didn't have a lot of body weight in them because it's mostly in the chair. Now, as you go to stand up, slide your feet back. And remember, we say standing up, but really that's a misnomer and it throws people off because the first thing we have to do is pour, like you're pouring a pitcher of water, pour out of the chair and down to the earth. So you notice my butt is no longer on the chair and I'm all folded up like almost in a fetal position. Then I just push through the earth and the body goes all the way to tall. To sit down, it's not down or back. It's not that way. It's this hips out of the way, arms loose and hanging, and then just fold at your hips back to that fetal position until your butt finds the chair. And then you sit back and you notice, oh, your feet are empty again. And then we do it again. Folding, pouring your weight out of the chair down to the earth. Then you're ready to just push, and the body goes launching vertically just by getting the down, primary direction down, right? And then the body is loose and relaxed, right? So then we can just fold and sink, right? So stiffness in your body makes you both heavy, more likely to fall, and also less able to fold the parts like we need to fold them, right? Because we need to fold in half and then unfold all the way to vertical. And then if we're gonna sit down, we gotta hip hinge and fold everything in half. And we just has to be, unhindered movement, unobstructed movement. So that's Tai Chi in a nutshell, is this idea of getting every place soft, supple, pliable, foldable, bendable, movable, right? And they say in the Tao Te Ching, the great book, what is brittle and hard is death, what is soft and supple is life. So that's what we cultivate. We look for where we're brittle, and we don't just accept it. We say, okay, look, what can I do about that? So that's what all these exercises are doing. So come to standing. So I'm standing, be standing up. Now do this little squat where we hip hinge and sink. So some of you might just sink to here, others here, others here. Someday you might even get to where you can touch your toes or touch the floor. And then just push through the earth and come back to standing all the way vertical. We're just going to do this a couple of times. Just fold all the parts. So this conditions the tissue, right? Like tenderizes tenderizes the meat and collagen and connective tissue of our body. These shapes that we make help to loosen up that brittleness. All right, so now we're standing, vertical. Come over to the chair that's on your right. So again, ideally you set up like I described at the beginning of class, one chair, two chair, and a third one for sitting. Now turn and face this chair, fingertips touching. And note that your foot has more foot in front of your ankle than behind your ankle. So the foot has, it's not equal in the front and back direction. So that means we can tip more forward. If you look at my body, or you can feel it in your own, there's a diagonal angle you can make with your body going forward, but you don't make the same angle backward. In fact, you have to move your belly back, but keep your shoulders and upper body forward. And then we go forward, and we go back. So hands are on the chair, keeping you safe. Forward, back. Now, forward into your toes, stay there, lift your heels way up, and then down. And then rock back to your heels, hand on the chair for safety. Pull your toes up off the floor. So that's where it can be dangerous if you don't have your hands on a chair of some kind. And then forward and lift, down, back, pull the toes up. This helps in many different ways. It's strengthening, but it's also cleaning out the density in your lower leg, that sort of heavy quality. All right, and then we're back to neutral. Turn and face forward. Step back from the chair. So now this chair on your right should be in front of you and off to the right. So you have this space here on the floor. It's like your playground. Now, first exercise, no hands. First exercise, feet do not leave the ground at all. But what we try to do is get 100% in the left leg. And you can probably see in my body, my weight's over here, and not because I've picked this foot up, but because I've arranged the overall relationship such that this leg has the weight, and then we change. This leg has the weight. And we're very accustomed to thinking that in order to empty a foot, you got to yank it off the floor. But I really want you to get that feeling that, no, it's just kind of pouring, like I said, a pitcher of water, pouring it down through one leg so the other is emptier, and then change. And the most important part is that down is the direction, and also making sure you're not locking your knee joint, but rather it's open, so it has a little bendability. And then we just change back and forth a couple more times. Get this feeling of, okay, my middle pivot, my central upright or zhong-zhung. It can stay feeling like you've got great equilibrium, and we want to limit any of this leaning and this leaning, because that's like a boat in the ocean listing and rocking, right? So we want to have this feeling that there's a central equilibrium, and it's just one leg, other leg. Now, stay in your left leg. The right foot should be emptier, and now lift the heel and get to the tippy toe. And then down, and then change. So now your weight goes into the right leg, left foot is empty, go heel lift to the tip of the shoe, and then down, and change. The weight goes down through the left. Now, as you lift, you might start to feel a little less safe, so that's why your chair is just right there for you, right? Down, change. You go to the tippy toe, down, change. So that's level 2 of this exercise. Now we go level 3, tippy toe, and hand on chair, disconnect the foot from the floor. So use the chair so that you can actually get that disconnect, and then put the foot back down without any weight in it, and change. So you establish a full leg, then the empty leg has the power of movement. Get to the tippy toe, disconnect, reconnect, and then change. Weight goes down through the left leg. Tippy toe, disconnect, reconnect, change. So if we can't do this, right, where we're not even moving forwards and backwards yet, we're going to have trouble when we go to move forwards and backwards. That's why this is an important exercise, because I can be practicing Zhongjung, central upright. I can be practicing relaxation, because the moment we start to pick a foot up, tension kicks in, right? We start getting afraid, versus training softness, relaxation, which is what grounds us and what eventually makes us feel lighter, called Qingling, light and nimble. Light and nimble. Now finally, hand on chair for sure, and let's go for maximum range. All the way up, as high as you can get this knee, and then all the way down without losing any of your vertical line, and then change. And then we go all the way up, all the way down, change. And then we go all the way up, all the way down, change. Someday, maybe no hands, but be careful. But I know those of you that have been practicing this for a while, you've at least had some moments where you felt that thing, that, hey, that's kind of easy, right? Where it's not this yanking and sort of clumsy yanking of the body. They call that li, rather than sung, softness, suppleness, that gives us this freedom of movement. Okay, next exercise. Pour the weight into your left foot. Put your right foot out in front, heel touching. So I'm going to turn sideways so you guys can see some of the angles. You just keep facing forward. So now we shift into the foot that's in front, get to the tippy toe on the back foot, and then shift into the back on the tip of the heel. And then we shift. And we shift. Now, again, since I'm moving forward, it's very common that we start thinking forward and backward, but the reality is it's still just down. It's just down. And if I get down, my body moves forward by itself and it keeps its equilibrium. Same thing when going backwards. Don't think backwards, think down. How do I get down? By relaxing, by softening, by releasing, yielding. Now we go to level 2. So here, use your chair, fingertips touching, lift your empty front foot from the hip, put the heel down, shift. Then once the back foot is empty, bend the knee, heel comes up, touch the toe down, shift. Once the front foot is empty, just from this hip, you kind of sit the hip, stay connected through that standing leg to the ground, and then shift. The weight goes down. That gives me this freedom to lift. So I gotta be patient enough, relaxed enough to get the weight down. Then that little lift becomes available. Get the weight down, that becomes available. Down, gives you the up. Down, gives you the up. Now level 3, use the chair for sure here so that you can go weight down, knee up. Down. Shift, the weight goes down, this knee comes forward and up. Toe reach behind, shift back. Up, down, shift. The weight goes down, that gives me the ability to bring this up, reach it back, shift. Knee, down, shift. Knee, back, and shift. So now we're going to switch sides, step feet together, side step, shift over, hand on that chair, step in. Now we put the weight in the right leg, left foot in front, level 1. Level 1 is the best time to use no hands. Shift, get to the tippy toe. Shift, get to the tip of the heel. because you're not picking the foot up off the ground, you can really practice moving from your middle, having your vertical axis intact, relaxing, and primary direction being down and down, down, down. And the fact that the primary direction is down is really good news, right? Once you start to put it into practice, to apply it. Because then you realize what you've been doing is sort of pulling yourself away from your primary support. That support that, barring a massive earthquake, the ground is there, it's solid, right? And the ground is represented in our space by the floor, or the foundation of our home, or whatever we're using. But it's the sturdiness that we want to tie into, we want to connect to. Let's go level 2. Hand on chair, lift, lower, shift. Now the only thing that gives this the freedom to go flamingo and down is that I've connected through the other leg. And then I connect through this leg, and that gives the safe movement here. It makes it light, makes it easy. And then shift and get nice and sturdy here so that this feels free. Poetic image, mountain, cloud. So mountain, got to have that mountain so that this can feel like a cloud. And then mountain, the other leg, cloud. Level 3, mountain, cloud, down. And then change so that this becomes that sturdy mountain, which allows us to feel like a cloud here. Mountain, cloud. One of the sayings in Tai Chi is top empty, bottom full. So any tension here is not being top empty. Drop the arms, drop the chest, drop the back, drop the neck, drop it all down through so that you feel the mountain, and then let it drop all the way through. Mountain. All right, feet together, side step, shift. Now set up essentially the same way, but be backed up from the chair just a little bit more so you have more runway in front of you. As we put the weight through the left leg, put the right foot in front, you can reach your chair as needed. Now we go shift, just like we did before, but then this back leg is empty, we just step it. Step it while it's still empty, and then shift. Get to that tippy toe. And then shift back. Step back with no body weight. Notice my foot is empty still. And then shift. So we've got mountain and cloud. Then we make this one the mountain. This one's a cloud, so it just steps. And then shift. So now this is mountain, the other is cloud. So we're getting this, what they call separating, or the differential between full and empty. What makes you good at Tai Chi is how free is that change from all the way mountain and all the way cloud to the opposite of that. Now this is the mountain, this is the cloud. You just have to, and what's happening is we're stuck somewhere in between all the time. They call that being double weighted. So we're working on truly committing to one and totally emptying the other, and then switching them. And then switching, and then switching, and it's from the middle pivot that switch happens. Level 2. So hand on chair, we go lift, lower, shift. Now as if there's something on the ground we have to step over it, and then shift. Mountain, cloud, flamingo, down, change, mountain, cloud, lift in front, take it back, float it back, stay in your mountain leg, reach back with the cloud leg, and then change. Now this is the mountain, cloud. And then change again. Now this back foot can step over. And then we change again so that this foot can lift and change. And you develop a palate, a mental palate for actually sensing full and empty. So I know, boom, there it is. And so that's why my movement is free. And then I can go, boom, there it is. But at first, you got to take a little extra time to let the sand get over there, to let the water spill. We got to let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And then it's ready to lift. And then let it go, let it go. And it's ready. But eventually, it's instant. That's what's really cool about it. It can be just boom, boom, boom. But if you try to do that too soon before softening happens, it's just clumsy. Level 3, knee up, down, shift. Take your time, make sure it's full and empty differential, then go heel to butt, knee to chest, foot out, down, shift. And then it's this knee forward and up, back, shift. Then it's up, tuck, reach. Then it's shift. So as the weight's going down, this comes up. And then as the weight goes down, this is free. Go through that whole ring. And as the weight goes down, free. Weight goes down. Weight goes down. One more. Just practicing relaxed, loose, not rushing. And feet together. We're going to switch sides. Step. Put your weight in your right leg. Put your left foot in front. Level 1 is no hands if you can. Shift, step, shift. And then back. Shift. Back here. Shift, step, shift. And shift, step. Again. This is just casual. But it has to have that differentiation of full and empty. Mountain and cloud. Chun-Wan and Ching-Ling. We go level 2, hand on chair. Lift, lower, shift. And now it's the obstacle. Bend, step up and over, down, shift. And then a little bend. Back, up, tuck, reach, back. So it's from this empty hip, lift, lower, shift. Back foot empty, steps over something. Shift. Bend, down, shift. Up, tuck, reach, shift. And then from the hip, lift, lower, shift. Over, shift. Flamingo. Reverse. And then definitely using the chair for maximum range. Up, down, shift, and then heel, knee, foot, down, shift. Knee, back, shift. Knee, tuck, reach, shift. Up, down, shift. Full range. And remember that idea that the middle which is the feeling of stability that we're all looking for when we feel like, oh, my balance is off, right? When you're here because of that, because you're saying, I want better balance, I want to be able to move better. And so where do we get that? Where do we find it? And from the Tai Chi view, it's about loosening and releasing all the tension around this middle. So that movement is free and loose and light, and yet inwardly there's this quality of total stillness. Total stillness. And so anywhere that we're going ha, and grabbing while we're trying to move, we're actually upsetting that internal equilibrium. So again, practicing being just loose. That doesn't mean sloppy, but it means free, right? And so that's what the practice doing it regularly yields over time. Okay, face forward. And I'll be right back. I just have to do something. So have a seat in your chair or stay standing. I will be right back. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay, so now come over to the left side of your space, turn, face that way. So we got this big old runway. Most important walk is this level 1 walk. You can try the level 2 and 3 as we go, but this is your best, practice in general for finding these principles, which we want to go change the weight to the right leg, put the left foot in front, empty. And then pour the weight down. Notice how that moved you forward. Step the other foot empty without lurching into it. Put it out there with no weight. Then pour the weight. Put it out there with no weight. Then pour the weight. Put it out in front. Pour the weight. So step without shifting. Shift without stepping. Same thing when we go backwards, and really be safe here. It's all about down. So down into the foot that's behind you. Now you have all your weight in one leg, the empty foot, step it behind, toe touching without any weight, and then shift. Step behind, no weight, shift. Step behind, and remember by shift, we mean down, step, down, right? And now forward, it's down, step, down, step, down. So that's how you speed up, quote unquote, speed up. You don't start rushing all of a sudden to go fast. You just get better at letting all the weight drop down to the earth, eventually instantly. So you step back and then it's just boom, it's there. And then it's there. And the better you get at that, the more you can move fast, quote unquote, fast. And then maybe you want to try level 2 where you step over something. Each step, weight goes down, that foot can step. Weight goes down, foot can step. Down, down. Be careful in the reverse and know where your chairs are in case you're almost going to lose balance, right? But lift up, tuck, reach, and then shift. Up, tuck, reach, shift. Tuck, reach, shift. And one more, either level 1 or level 2. Some of you might try level 3, which is just exaggerated steps. But be careful, of course, where it's knee completely bent, then all the way to chest, then float it out, then lower down, all the while your Zhongjang stayed connected, and then you chain. And then it's heel, knee, foot, down, chain. This really reveals to you where you are not song, where you are not soft, supple, pliable, and loose. Right? And we want to encounter those places in ourselves in a safe environment within our practice so that we don't encounter them out on the street or at the supermarket or wherever, right? So that's why having your daily practice. I mean, I practice multiple times a day because I fall in love with this process that's available to us, which is to cultivate brain, body, nervous system perfection, a perfect state that's only available when we're soft, relaxed, empty in a way. It's very mystical. It's a very mystical sort of idea. So now stay all the way to this left side, but now face forward. Pour the weight down through your left leg. Side step out, in, out, in. So what we really want to get here, what we're cultivating here, is the qua, or this groin area, or the inguinal crease. So when I step out, it opens. When I step in, it closes. If I step out and my body gets pulled along with it, this never opened, right? It's lurching, it's clumsy. So open, close. I want my body weight staying 100% through this leg as I step out and in. And again, if I'm locked in this knee, I can't do this exercise. So it also really trains us to find this Tai Chi leg, this soft leg here that allows you to step out, step in. Now, put the right foot out, keep it out, change. So now this qua closes, this qua opens. Keep this foot on the ground. And then change back. This qua closes, this qua opens. And then change again. So we're cultivating valuable real estate, right? Valuable real estate, priceless real estate. You can't buy an open qua, but you can cultivate it, practice it, create it, or bring it into its manifestation, right? Because it's available, it's just a lot of people have it shut down and closed. So we're finding it. Now, stay in your right leg, bring the left foot in, out, in, out, in, out. Now, in, keep it in, change to the left leg, change to the right leg, change. So you notice there's a little bit of sort of lateral happening, but very little. There's mostly down. Now, right foot empty, step. Down. Step in. Down. Out. Down. In. Down. Now, in, out, change. Down, step, down, step, step, down. And now we're going to connect some of the work we do on the Friday class, which is the upper body Tai Chi choreography, with the lower body. So first, let's do the basic without stepping, without moving steps. So find your stance, hip distance comfortable. Put all your weight in your left leg. Now, from your middle pivot, turn a little bit to your left and bring your hands across. I'll move here so you can see me. Move your hands across, but notice how I did not take my hands up, right? They did something, but they stayed down and they went over here. And you want it to feel a little bit like you took some elastic and you pulled it. It has this potential power in that elastic. And so when you shift and turn and reach, feel that quality of elasticity. Call it storing. Now shift into your right leg, turn from your middle pivot. That brings the hands through and they come all the way across to this side and then turn around. Now they have that elasticity on that side, on this side. And then we shift and turn. It's called the bear washing pause in the stream. Shift and turn. And then shift and turn. And then shift and turn. Now that exact quality of just, it's sort of simple, right? It's not rocket science. It's just shifting, turning, and sweeping. What we add to that is this little step. So we shift and turn. Now the hands are over here on your right. Your left foot should be empty. Step it in. Now this foot stays in as you shift into this leg. Turn, brush, and sweep. Now your right foot should be empty. Steps out. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Now your left foot should be empty. So Alexander, if your weight is in this leg, your right leg, look where my hands are. Yeah. Now bring the left foot in. Now shift into the left leg, turn, brush, and sweep. Now the hands are over here, the weight is over here. Step. And then shift and turn and brush and sweep. Now the left foot should be empty. Step. Shift and turn, brush and sweep. Step. Shift and turn and brush and sweep. Step. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Step. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Now bring your left foot in and back out, and we go that way. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Step in. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Step out. This helps us find here. Where is this place in us where we're controlling all of this? We're controlling the turn and the brush and the sweep and the change of full to empty, empty to full. We're stepping in and then we're stepping out, and through with all of this activity, like I was describing earlier, rather than it feeling like some chaotic stumbling around, which is how it can feel in the beginning, you feel internal ease, internal stillness. Let's go there and back again. You can turn it into the bear swats the jumping fish by just taking the outside hand and swatting across the space, stepping, they change across the space. As the hands are changing, the foot can step, brush and swat. And so we're coordinating. You got to go slow enough to have everything be together. As my teacher says, everyone's on the bus, right? So as I step, I got one hand low, one hand high, everyone's on the bus, the weight is in this leg, and then it's everyone together coming across. And I'm going through this release and storing phase, stepping in, and then everyone's on the bus and it's shifting and turning, sweeping, cross, step. Eventually you just let it bleed into one into the other. Bring the foot in, let's go back. Again, we're doing the bear squats, the jumping fish. You could go for the higher jumping fish now. All right, sweeping way up. But even though we're way up here and reaching, we can be distracted by what's happening with the hands to the point where it pulls us from our root, or we can feel so relaxed that we never lose this connection to the ground, no matter what's happening above. So this is advanced Tai Chi, and it gets more advanced. This is essentially the simplest possible advanced Tai Chi. So we're taking our first step into a larger world by trying to coordinate from the middle what's happening below deck and above deck and have it all seamless and communicating with each other, all the different parts. Now come to standing in the middle, hands together, rub your palms, rub the back of one hand, palms, rub the back of the other hand, and then your quad, the groin area, palms softly on the quad, and then somewhat vigorous all the way up to the top of that little inguinal crease point, all the way down, up and down. Find the whole quad and promote open, relaxed, free. Then the whole hip flexor area, which is the front band around from groin area out around the legs, hip flexor area. And then around to the back, tailbone, and up onto that lumbar. So this whole section tends to get jammed up. And then we go sticking the booty back a little bit like a squat, sitting and sweeping the hands down the outside of the legs, around to the inside, up the inseam of the legs, past the groin, all the way to the navel, the belly button. And then we do that whole little series again. Qua, hip flexors, sacrum and tail, lumbar or above the sacrum, and then we fold at the hips, sit and sweep down the outside of the legs around to the inside, standing up the inside of the legs to the navel one more time. Qua, hip flexors, tail, lumbar, down, and up. And then lastly, finishing the chi reset, up the outer arm to the shoulder, turn, sweep down and off. Up the outer, up, up. And this basically just promotes a reset because we focused on one specific set of movements, right? But we don't want to have that get us caught with a bunch of little swirls and tangles. So we're just resetting back to relax. Other arm, up, turn, down and off. So again, we go up the outer arm to the shoulder, turn, down the inner arm and off. And eventually that just feels, again, like the most natural thing in the world. Just up the outer, down the in. And wing, roll, fold over top. This is the closing gesture. Down to your belly. Turn your palms to face in at the belly. And then seal the practice, center of palm, right over the belly button. And then the center of this palm, over the back there. And just take a couple of breaths, do nothing at all. Notice anywhere where you're doing something that you could stop, that you could relax. Right? That could be elbows flared out, let them relax. Shoulders could be kind of shrugged and tight, let them go. Knees could be locked, let them soften. Feet could be clenching the ground, can you let them spread, let them be open. And then we close with this little Taoist hand mudra. So grab a thumb, fold, creates this little symbol here of harmonizing the dualities, yin, yang, up, down, left, right, front, back, so as to find the middle. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your week. See some of you on Friday. And if there are any questions, please feel free.